Our friend Jack Huston from Midwest Deer Survey recently shared a really cool video of where he saw, using his thermal drone, a mountain lion hunting deer here in Missouri. This happened to be in central Missouri. It's amazing footage, and there's a lot of lessons we deer hunters, especially bow hunters, can learn from this. Jack does a lot of survey work, and I believe this is the first mountain lion he and his drone have ever picked up, but it is amazing footage. Now, before we get started, I want to share mountain lions aren't all over Missouri. They're not wiping out deer herds. Matter of fact, a lion was killed last year in Missouri, illegally I'll add, and that lion had ear tags in it. It was a young male from Nebraska, and that cat had traveled 400 plus miles. In fact, most of the lions, roadkill, whatever, that are found are almost always young males that have traveled from the west. They're like dispersing, looking for a new range. I'll also add, before we get rolling, no one has ever had any image, footage, scene, whatever that I'm aware of, kittens in Missouri. Doesn't seem like there's a breeding population. Let's get this footage rolling. So Jack's doing a deer survey, checking out, and man, he sees something doesn't look like a deer. Clearly this is a mountain lion, cougar, whatever you want to call it. Clearly a mountain lion. And it's laying downwind. Wind that day was coming from the deer towards the cat of these deer, so they don't know it's there. Mountain lions have pretty good camo on their skin, and we got to think about us, because once that cat starts moving, you're going to see some deer bust him, even though the deer are upwind of the cat. There's no chance they smelled him. So cat says, now's my time. You know, cats need, based on Western research, 1 to 2 deer a week. They need to kill 1 to 2 deer a week. They don't eat carrion, they don't eat, rotted food like maybe coyotes would or something. They are big time deer killers. But not all stalks work out. So this cat's gonna get up, start doing some stalking, and man, it's just beautiful looking at this cat. And he's gonna use cover, like hunters ought to use cover, to approach his hunting area. Even with good camouflage on, deer have eyes that are really adapt to picking up movement, because nothing eats a deer unless it's moving. So they see movement really well. This cat's creeping through the edge of the vegetation at the timberline, making a play on these deer. But once he busts out in the open there, I don't know if these deer see him, hear him. I doubt it. Cats are extremely quiet, walking on those big old padded paws. But he gets out in the open, and this one deer just busts him. I mean, she's obviously alert. Her posture tenses up. Her ears are cupped right towards the lion. You can tell she's using all her senses to detect this lion. Look at that tail. It's slightly erect, and the white hairs on the edge of the tail are sticking out. That's a sure sign deer are very alert. They sense danger in the area. This cat's still moving through some low cover, but cats aren't very tall. You can tell he's not out in the open field, right? He's right on the edge where the cover is taller, but somehow this deer busts him, right? Deer make a living staying alive, and they're very prone to detecting predators. Now you think about this cat really close to the ground, good camo, walking extremely silent. How would we walk up on these deer within bow range? It's just not gonna happen most of the time in this scenario. So the deer's actually coming to identify the source of danger, which tells me she doesn't know it's a mountain lion, a tremendous threat to her health. She just knows something's not right. Cat lays down, trying to hide from the deer a little bit, get low. You see those ears cupped. When deer can articulate the ears, move them just like us cupping our hands over our ears, and she is honed in, and the other deer's following along. The deer in the top left corner, you can't see it right now, it's not alert. It doesn't know there's a sense of danger. And you can watch these deer, it looks like they're cutting downwind. Now, we don't know exactly what this deer is thinking, but the movements sure look like, I'm gonna go downwind and identify the source of danger. And you see that. This is a great lesson for us. We should not blow a grunt call unless we know how the deer is gonna approach, because oftentimes we're just gonna call them down of our scent stream. They're gonna cut our scent stream before they get within range. This cat's just laying low because it probably knows it's been busted. It's watched a lot of deer behavior. If it's lived this long to get to that size, it's taken down a lot of deer. It gets up, and notice that heat trail followed where the cat was there, and you see that on the deer. See those red marks over there? center of the screen, that's where the deer were walking. Think how small those hooves are, and left a little heat. Think about us leaving scent molecules, which I'm sure last longer than the heat. Heat dissipates rapidly. Moist scent molecule can hang around for quite some time. Cat's looks like it's eyeballing that other deer up in the corner that's not alert yet. Got a little bit of corn between it and that deer. These deer are now downwind of that cat, the two in the bottom. They know that there's a major predator there. You can see that standing corn now when he goes to full color. These deer have identified that threat, but they're getting about in striking range of the cat. So he says, well, heck, I'll just chase when he's down. But cats are short range hunters like bow hunters. They have very low lung capacity. They can't sprint too far, and this cat rapidly gives up. Says, it's out of my range. There's no chance I'm going to catch it. These deer flee. You see that high bounce and that tail up there warning other deer. And this cat is moving on to another area, because once those deer are alert, there's no chance that cat's going to catch them, and it's going to hunt another area. Like if we alert a lot of deer, we know the deer have memory. We probably need to hunt another area for a few days until that area calms down. Maybe a week or so is what the research shows. There's a lot to learn in this video from a bow hunter's perspective. I often say a great hunting strategy is hunting like a bobcat. There's bobcats all over Missouri, all over most states. And they don't take down as many adult deer as mountain lions do, but they're certainly capable of taking down adult deer. I can remember decades ago, my major professor at the University of Georgia, Larry Marston, was the first person to put a radio collar on a white-tailed deer. One of his early deer he was studying was a large 8-point buck in Alabama, and he was following it. He was actively following this, not like GPS collars we have today, but radio collars, radio telemetry. And a bobcat killed that buck while he was following it. He got up on the kill site really quickly after it sent a mortality signal out, and the evidence, the claw marks, the neck bite and everything was clear that a bobcat had taken that mature buck down. But that's the oddity, that's not the normal. I hope you enjoyed Jack's video here. Jack, we certainly appreciate you sharing with this, and I hope you'll take time to re-watch it after his commentary and see what observations you make and how this applies to your hunting. Share your thoughts in our comments, and as always, it's always good to learn about hunting, but it's more important to learn about the Creator and His will for our life. Thanks for watching Growing Deer.